Hi guys! I'm going to be doing a video today about how to do well in college classes. During my freshman year, I had a lot of trouble with classes, and it wasn't because I was not able to do them, it wasn't because I wasn't smart enough, it just was because I didn't know how to handle college and how to study smartly. So I improved, like my last year of college, I completely turned it around, and it was based on the advice that my friends and family gave me, and a lot of things that I did worked. So I thought I would share it with you guys because I know I was always looking for advice from people, and everything I did, that every advice piece of advice I got really helped. So yeah, I'll get started. The first really important thing to do when you want to do well in a college class is to start preparing in the summer. And that doesn't mean to start like studying in the summer, which is fine if you want to, but by preparing, I mean that if you already know what college classes you have for the summer, you need to look them up and see what the syllabus is for that class. If you don't have access to the syllabus yet, then look at your professor's email and just email them and ask for the syllabus for each of your courses. And then after you get the syllabus from each class, I would definitely sit down and make a calendar of when your major tests and papers are due. You can do it on Google Calendar, you can print something out and write it down, but this is extremely important. You want to know how your semester is going to be laid out and when your tests are grouped together so that you know which period of 2 weeks you'll have to be doing a lot of studying. That's so important. And the next thing is to ask your friends how each of those courses have gone. If you have upperclassmen that have already taken those courses, make sure you ask what are like the secrets to that course, because there will always be like um, some certain things that you need to do for each specific course. Like some teachers will have some quirks and stuff. And if you don't have any upperclassmen friends, just look online, look at ratemyprofessor.com, the general sites. Like just Google like the class and the teacher and your college. You'll definitely find some advice. And if you have questions about subjects, you can ask me like how certain subjects go. I can probably answer those as well. Yeah, making the calendar part is super important because when you come to school for the first couple of weeks, especially if you're a freshman, you'll have to go to an activities fair, and you'll be signing up for all these like clubs and new activities. And you want to know when they ask you when you're at the fair, they ask you, will you be free this week, this date? You have to be free to join this club. You'll have it right in front of you. You'll know your schedule, so you'll know if you'll be able to commit that time and not let it affect your studying. Also, if you're a freshman and you don't know your classes yet, just the way you can prepare is by going online and looking at the GED requirements for your college. Make sure you know those before you go into college, and your major requirements, and then researching what teachers are good for the classes you need to take your freshman year. Make like a 4-year plan. That's what I would do if you don't know your classes yet. And then once you get to college, the very my dad told me this when I was struggling in classes. The most important thing is to start early, and I would start on the very first day. Like when you go to class on the first day, if you have any kind of work, if your teacher tells you you have to read this many pages by like Friday, I would start on the first day. I know that sounds crazy, like your friends are gonna think you're so lame, but honestly, like your friends will get over it after a while. They don't really care. And you'll have more time later on to do the fun stuff if you're organized now. If you're prepared, you can do like half an hour the first day or an hour. That's what I would recommend of work. And then if you continue doing that, you'll have more time over the weekend to hang out with them, and you'll be less stressed out in general. So yeah, you won't be the lame one later on. So definitely start on the first day. I know it sounds crazy, but like you have to. Just find some alone time for half an hour and do it. And then the next thing is don't take on too much. I this is the hardest thing for me because I love doing like everything. I like all different kinds of activities. So my freshman year, I just like signed up for everything. I don't know, I like got involved with everything, which is good. Your freshman year, you should definitely explore a lot of activities, but you just have to remember that you're at college to pass your classes and do well in them. So, um, yeah, the main thing that you should, I feel like the activities that are important is have one activity in which you get some exercise because that will help your classes. Like you'll be in a better state to study. And another activity that helps your, major, that supports your major so that you can put on your resume, and something that you're really passionate about. The next really important thing is that every exam you have, I strongly suggest that you start studying for it a week ahead of time. Like literally the week before. If it's on a Wednesday, you have to start studying the Tuesday before. It's just something you have to do. It's not like, oh, Stravia is saying maybe like a week. I can start on like Friday or Saturday because chances are you're just gonna keep pushing it back. The more stressed out you get about it, and the closer to the test you get, the more stressed out you get. And these college tests have a whole lot of information on them. You have to know like everything that you learn to get like, a 95 plus. You have to know everything in the material, not just like you kind of know most of the material, you have to know everything. So to do that kind of memorization, you have to start like a week ahead of time, even more if you need time, that's totally fine. Um, and I would suggest that when you're studying, make sure that you study alone for at least some period of time and like kind of rehearse things out loud or say things out loud because that really makes you make sure you're like listening to the material that's going through your head and not just like kind of reading it and not thinking about it. Just and after you study alone, I would suggest like discussing things with a group. This really helps because just in case like you got something wrong or you're learning something wrong, they can help you out. And teaching someone something really ingrains it in your head. So just do those things. Make sure you study, have some alone time so you get stuff done, and that you study with friends. Um, Okay, and for papers, I would suggest that finishing papers always 3 days ahead of time. Don't like stay up the night before and finish them. And I totally did that, but it's such a bad idea because first of all, your mind doesn't think very well if you're staying up the night before, and you'll have kind of a crappy paper. And second of all, if you finish it 3 days ahead of time, you can email it to your professor and ask them if they have any suggestions about it. And even if you don't have like a specific question about it, just like kind of come up with a question that you can ask your professor um, because generally if they look at it and they know how much effort you're putting into it and they edit it, they'll naturally give you a better grade. um, yeah, so you'll just get a better grade just by finishing it 3 days ahead of time and emailing it to the teacher, even if you had done the same thing the night before. Okay, and then the final, like, I think the thing that, or this is not the final one, but the thing that helped me the most, that I changed from my freshman year was getting sleep. I know that's sounds like whatever, sounds like, of course, getting sleep, but oh my god, like, I didn't sleep at all freshman year pretty much. I would sleep like 3 or 4 hours every night just because I was having fun and stuff, um, and then I would like pass out on the weekends and not study. And so what I changed was like I tried to sleep a lot more. I wouldn't be always be able to sleep like 8 hours a night. I would sometimes get like 6 or 5 because sometimes you just have a lot of work to do. But I definitely started taking naps during the day. So at some point, get your like 7 to 8 hours of sleep each day. Like take naps. You think that like you won't have time to study, but you won't be able to process things, and you'll take a lot longer to study the same material if you're really sleepy. So I would just take like at least like half an hour nap or an hour nap before you start studying if you're sleepy. Definitely suggested. And the final thing is go to class. I some Yeah, I skipped classes as a freshman, and I think that was like one of my biggest downfalls. So, yeah, going to class is important because I know sometimes teachers are, not that helpful and stuff, but for me, actually, I need like discipline. So, like, going to class, make sure like I learn the material at a steady pace, instead of waiting till like the last 5 days before a test to like completely learn everything. I would like learn something each day that I went to class, and I would consider as my studying for that test basically. So going to class is actually contributing to the test directly. you should definitely go to class. In my opinion, like a lot of my friends like will have don't go to class and just listen to recordings. For some classes, if you go there and you're really not listening because the professor is just that boring, then that makes sense. But my personal like preference is to just go and like try as hard as I can to listen and digest material, because that, I mean, it just takes hard work. Like you just have to try as hard as you can to like listen to the professor. And then I actually go home and I listen to the recorded lecture closer to the test. I will like listen. That's what I start doing a week ahead of time, is listening to my lectures, and then I take notes. I add to the notes that I took in class, and then like I literally remember everything, because hearing something twice is just you'll just like remember it completely. And so yeah, go to class, especially as a freshman. You're gonna have so many things that are distracting you when you're trying to study by yourself, that going to class is super important. Like that is the place that you'll probably learn a lot. Going to class, and then also as a freshman, there's also like study sessions that the teachers hold, like TA sessions. Make sure you go to those, because those TA sessions, like they usually discuss like things that are important, specifically important to the test, and you wouldn't be able to solve. Generally, like there were problems that I wouldn't be able to solve by myself. I was like, oh, that's how you do that. Thank God I came to this session. So make sure you go to those. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, or if you have suggestions for other people that are watching this video, please comment down below. It would be really helpful to everyone. And please subscribe and like this video.